What's up, Overtakers? We're on our way for our first episode of What's in Your Shed.
Yeah, we're cruising in the HJ. It's good to be back on the road in the HJ. I don't know whether you'll see this before or after we finish off the interior. I don't know. Might be some secret squirrel stuff in the background. But yeah, we're going to go and visit Chris from Schumacher, the MD of Schumacher Asia Pacific. So we're going to check out his shed. Yeah. What do you reckon?
Oh, let's do it.
Chris, we're sitting here today, mate, in the middle of an amazing shed. But I got to come out here today, and Tyler's here hiding behind the camera there, of course, with us. But we got to come out and have a look because we met you through Superformance, and
Yep.
then we've been talking about your products, Schumacher products, and I've been obviously using a few of these products at home.
Trying them out. Yep.
Yeah, and it's I got to say I've learnt a heck of a lot when it comes to the difference in what there is in a battery charger. I thought I could just walk into any shop and pick up the cheapest one in there and that'll do. But when you actually realise that could be costing me more money in frying a battery or whatever, there's a lot to these things, right?
Yeah. Well, firstly, you're the first Holden guys to be in the shed ever, so
that's a big call.
Very strictly a Ford domain, so glad to let you in. But yeah, Schumacher products are leading edge, market leading products with technology. Battery maintenance is not just a very simple thing that people assume. So yeah, there's products out there that aren't great, and people use them and think they're doing the right thing, and they've done the right thing, gone out and bought something to try and look after their battery, and it ends up killing their battery. So you've got to be careful with what you buy and what you select. And Schumacher products are good quality, otherwise I wouldn't be working for them. And yeah, and as you've found out, they do what they're meant to do. So.
And I find myself telling everybody now about, coming up in conversation on, things like differences between a trickle charger and a maintainer. And, actually 2 days ago I was having a conversation about, why don't all battery chargers have a hook on them? You would know that one well. So
Yeah, it's funny, people go and buy trickle chargers, which are basically constant current, and a constant current device hooked up to a battery can dry the battery out and kill the battery. And I was talking to a guy at Superformance, Christian, that does the drawing, and he's telling me about his Harley, how he went into his shed and the rotten egg smell, battery was red hot, and it was just a cheap little trickle charger. And at the end of the day, that's bad technology. Smaller batteries get overheat and they get cooked, and even expensive battery like what's in your car, with the Optima.
Yeah.
You don't want to have them having current running through them all the time constantly, because it can kill them. Those batteries are $300+, and you've got to be careful what you put on there. So with our battery chargers, the maintainers are slightly different. They go through a charge cycle, complete the charge cycle correctly, make sure the battery's fully charged, and then in the background they turn off.
Yep.
And then they sit there for 12 hours. The lights are still on, so you can see that it's still ready to go. And yeah, 12 hours later they check if there's been any load or any voltage drop out of the battery. They'll do another cycle, and it just does the same thing. So it maintains a battery by checking and charging every 12 hours if needed, which is a lot better than a trickle charger. So it's something that everyone should understand.
And I'm using a 3 amp battery maintainer now at home, and of course you've got one sitting here.
Yeah.
In front of us on the F truck. So
yeah, well, the truck's got a lot of compression. It's a big motor and 406 cubes, and it's fuel injected, and it's got an ECU there that has some sensors that chatter away even when the key's out of the ignition. Something I could fix by putting an isolator on there. But for me, It's got 2 batteries. It's a big
Yep.
motor and it's hard to crank, so it's got 2 batteries in there. And I just leave the 3 amp, the same one, on there. It's my favourite charger out of our whole range. And the truck just lives on a 3 amp maintainer, and every time you want to use it, away you go. So,
Yeah, and I was actually surprised at how cheap they are too. So
yeah.
because you know, after you go through everything, we have I thought, oh, this is going to be an expensive bit of gear, and like you actually gave me one to try out.
Yeah.
And I was using
Full
that
disclosure, you have free samples. Full disclosure.
Yeah, full disclosure, and I was using that before I knew the price. And I expected it to be a lot more expensive. So, but you know, and as well, there's videos out now. You can pick one of those up for $89. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That might change as of this date.
No, the prices are pretty competitive. I mean, in the past, some of the bigger brand names in Australia, you'd pay nearly $200 for the same thing.
Yeah.
But Schumacher is the world's biggest battery charger company, and we've got the volume that we put through for the North American market. So a lot of our components and a lot of the manufacturing is a lot cheaper because we make tens of thousands of pieces at a time. So the price is very competitive for our products. So worth checking out.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about even your own history and what you do with Schumacher, but we've got to have a look at this truck. So we've got the guys probably we've mentioned it, so we've got to throw some shots of that up there. Now you've got various projects in the shed, but
I've got 4 projects.
This one's been done for a while.
Yeah, it's about 10 years. So I wanted a pickup truck, particularly an F100, from when I was a little kid, and I've travelled to the States quite a lot over my work career, and I was dealing with a company in Texas called Interstate Batteries. So I was flying backwards and forwards to Texas a couple of times a year, and had some friends over there, and decided I wanted an F truck, and was drinking some rum one night and looking on the internet, and this cheap truck came up, a couple of $1,000, and it just happened to be in a suburb near one of the guys I developed a relationship with in Dallas, and a suburb called Louisville. So he went round and had a look at it for me, had me on the phone. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. I was drunk and he was sober, and he told me it was a good deal, and I bought the truck. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there you go. $2,000, and you would not. I've got to see what it was at $2,000 because it's not a $2,000 truck now.
I'll send you some pictures. Yeah,
yeah.
It wasn't terrible. It had been painted and stuff, but so as I've talked to you before about the truck, there were some stories though.
It's a good story.
Yeah, so with importing vehicles to Australia, you've got to get an import approval. So that process can take 35, 40, 45 days, something like that. So I got him to store it, and I was buying wheels and tyres and some Edelbrock heads and a few other bits and pieces, and sending them to him. And when I got the import approval, I put it on the back of a truck and shipped it. And
all the bits inside.
Yeah, he shoved them all behind the seat and did all that sort of stuff for me. He was a good guy. He fitted the wheels and tyres for me. And halfway across the desert in Arizona, the car carrier caught fire. The axle bearing went in the trailer, and the whole trailer caught fire. So I was at work, and the insurance, because I'd insured it, I did something right, I insured it, and the insurance company phoned to tell me that the truck had been in fire, and I just laughed. I thought it was hilarious because it was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done, buying this truck when I was drunk. But and
it was insured, so you were going to get your money back. You thought,
Well, I insured it for sort of like an agreed value deal, so I insured it for more than I was into it for, and I kind of made money out of that, and I thought it was pretty hilarious. And the insurance guy told me that's the first time that ever happened to him in his career. And but yeah, so then I got paid out, and then I had an opportunity. They phoned me up and said you can buy it back under a salvage title for $1,000, and I said, I might as well do that. It wasn't terribly damaged. The tail lights had melted out of it. All the tub was burnt, but the front was fine, and the engine was fine, and the cab was fine. So I bought it back for $1,000 and arranged for them to reship it, and then it went missing. It had actually been stolen.
So it's burnt down, then stolen.
So anyway, we
it wasn't a second lot of insurance, though.
No. So I don't. At that point, I had a $1,000 salvage title for a truck that didn't exist. And anyway, it showed up. It was actually in the salvage yard. The guy wanted the motor and bits and pieces out of it, so he shoved it down the back and was trying to hide it. But anyway, we found out it was there, and we actually went and got it, and then shipped it to LA, and then shipped it home. And by the time we got it here, it really cost me nothing, and I had this F100.
I don't think it was that easy. Like, you made it sound easy how he got that.
Yeah, no, there was a lot more to it. But the whole transaction took nearly 2 years. So it was cursed. The truck was cursed. But when I got it here, I was pretty excited. I had the truck of my dreams, really, which was a rusty old F100 that had a big block and a 4-speed, and that was kind of what I wanted. But in the end, I probably got a big side and stripped it down, every last nut and bolt, and pulled it apart, and then took about 4 years. Oh, it was about 3.5 years to do what I wanted. So I bored the motor out, put the aluminium heads and manifold on it, put Holley injection on it, end up putting a 6-speed Tremec behind it, and then full back to bare metal paint. And there was a fair bit of warpage in the tub, so I had to try and get all that out. And just probably went a bit overboard, but I love it. It's a good truck. So.
Now, how does that power? That big block with the Tremec, it's got a bit of go?
Yeah, it's 525 horsepower.
Yeah.
And it gets up in boogies. Like, it's got massive amount of torque. You can be in the wrong gear and still race. Like, it's just ridiculous. I've never taken down drag strip. It's got big, long leaf springs in the back, and at axle tramps really bad.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like to do burnouts and take off on the line. It's but it steers. It sits on the road. You can drive it with one finger. It doesn't follow the contour of the road or anything. It steers really well. But if you want to bend a 6-speed, you put in the right gear and punch it. The thing lights up and away it goes. So but it is a big heavy truck, and but it's a lot of fun. Got really good brakes on the front. It's got race brakes on the front, and
And now maybe some plans to change it up. It's been like this for a while, and
I'm a bit bored with it, which is what happens. And I was talking to Todd at Superformance the other day, and he's pretty keen to put a Superformance front end under it, which is what I want. I've lowered it and done everything the wrong way just to get it down low. It really needs an aftermarket front end put in there, and Todd does some really good work in that space.
They put a lot of R&D into those front ends.
Yeah, and he's done the earlier model truck and he's done the later model truck, but he hasn't done this truck. So I'm going to get Superformance to do the front end. Like, I try and do everything myself. I do engines and gearboxes and diffs and wiring and paint and rust and all that myself. And I like, the shed's here for a reason, but there's some things I just don't have the time and knowledge to do, and Todd does. And I like Todd. He's a really good guy. So Todd and Grant. So Todd's going to put the front end in it. And I thought, well, while I'm doing that, I might change the motor out. I'm actually going to put that motor in my Galaxy.
Yep.
I want to keep the original motor out of the Galaxy there, but I'll put the racing motor in the Galaxy. And then I'm going to put a Coyote in the truck. So,
and if we have a look around the shed, there's a few projects going on. So as we talk about this could be another project. We're going to change this up, but you've already got. We've got 1, 2, 3. There's four projects going on.
Yeah. So I've got my car, which is the Galaxy, which is I work for Stone Brothers and Jimmy Stone. I used to have Smoko with Jimmy, and Jimmy used to talk about 63.5 Galaxies and show me pictures, and I fell in love with those, and I really wanted one. So I went to States and bought one, and so I got that. That's for me.
There's another story in that, which we'll do on another day when you finish it.
I've got lots of stories, but the Galaxy, it's kind of a classic story too. So, but anyway, it's a big block 4-speed car as well. So I don't want to put a Coyote in it and wreck it. It's a pretty desirable car. So I'll just take the truck motor, which is hot rodded, and put it in that, and keep the original standard motor.
Yep.
And then I've got my son. He's got a 65 XP wagon. And we're doing that slowly. There's no rush. And then my other son, we've got a 79 2-litre 4-speed Escort. So
now that's the cool thing about the shed here is I turn up here today. The boys are both in here doing bits and pieces.
Yep.
And that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
So,
it's just dad projects and fun time. Well, they go off and do other things, and they're not always down here. But I'm only in here on weekends, and I work pretty hard, and I'm always pretty busy. So to me, it's good to have those projects there. It might take us 5 years to do them, but they're learning. Like my son laid his first welds today.
Yeah.
They never welded. I might try the welder, Dad. And I showed him how to fire it up, and he ran some beads of weld, and he's never been interested in it, but all of a sudden today he was interested in it. I was really proud to show him that,
It's a bit of a TAFE as well.
Yeah. Teaching him stuff.
Yeah.
And my other son Bailey, he's learned how to do a bit of paint. He's painted the Escort, and there's a RAV4 over there that he's been working on, just to splash a bit of paint on a few things. And we're actually going to have a go at painting the Galaxy ourselves. So and it's a big straight car, so if the paint goes on bad, it's really noticeable. So we set our challenge to ourselves to paint it, and we'll have a go at it. If it doesn't turn out any good, we'll sand it back and send it somewhere, Gold Coast Paint and Panel or something, and get them to finish it off, But
and he does a bit of detailing. And
yeah,
stuff
he
as
does
well.
detailing here. All the neighbours and family friends and a few other businesses in the area, he does their detailing here, and he has a bit of fun with that. So
yeah, look, it's a pretty good setup. But then, back to Schumacher again. Obviously, you've ended up in there, but you mentioned there before Stone Brothers, and so your career of where you've gone from to now is always been in the industry of some sorts as well.
Yeah, so I'm a mechanic by trade, a diesel mechanic. I worked in the mines when I left, when I finished my apprenticeship, and then I started selling oil. So I sold oil for over 15 years. I worked for Valvoline, Mobil, and Caltex. When I was at Valvoline, I started dropping oil off to Alan Jones Racing. And Ross and Jimmy Stone were partners with Alan Jones, so I'd drop off Valvoline, had Valvoline stickers on the car. Then when it became Stone Brothers, they really didn't have a full team, and they were always looking for someone to help, and I was a mechanic and interested in motor racing. I'd grown up around motor racing with my father raced and stuff. So I started pit crewing for them on weekends and going away to races, and then eventually I worked for them full time. So I ran their engine program. From a business perspective, I didn't build the engines, but I ran the business side of it, understood the engines, and had a team of guys. And we did engines for Triple Eight, Brad Jones Racing, Mark Larkham, and then some of the development teams as well as obviously Stone Brothers. So Paul Cruikshank Racing as well with the Warren Luff drove their car, so we did their engines as well. So yeah.
And then you've learnt a hell of a lot about batteries.
Yeah, so I bought into a battery business and ran that for a while, and then it was when we had a battery company that I started to import Schumacher.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lot more to it than people think.
Yeah.
Keeping your battery maintained or charging a battery that won't charge. People leave batteries sitting around flat and then they won't charge. You've got to have a fairly intelligent charger to stimulate the cells, get the cells to charge. So yeah, I have learned a bit about it over the years, and I guess it's key for me to be. I like the industry, you know. I grew up around the industry, been in sheds since I was really young, and I learned how to weld when I was 14. You know, with my old man, and yeah, it's just for me. I've got the ideal job. I love my job. I'm in the industry I love. I get to talk about things I know and I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
The product we sell, it's good quality. It's competitively priced. We've got some great customers. So yeah, it's good.
And there's
fun.
quite a big range as well.
Yeah.
Because you know we're talking inspection lights. You know, all different lights.
Yeah, we have battery chargers from 1 amp to 350 amp, or we've got a new range coming out where they have jump start within the charger in big heavy duty workshop stuff. We have 100 amp chargers for ECU tuning. We have a really wide range of chargers. It's a really complex area when you look at all the applications. And then we just have handyman, home, workshop stuff as well. But yeah, battery testers. We have scan tools, very basic scan tools for recoding battery codes in European cars. Lithium jump starters. We have a pretty good range of lithium jump starters. Lead acid jump starters, which is the old traditional heavy jump starter. Yep. We do them that you can jump start trains, 72 volt.
I was going to say, I've seen a video of a diesel train getting jump started.
Yeah, 2,500 horsepower, two-stroke diesel in a train down at Pacific National train down at a workshop in Spotswood in Melbourne. They wanted jump starters for their trains, and they had a very sceptical, these old salty rail guys, that our jump starters could start their big diesel locomotives. And I go down there and dropped off the unit. They made sure it was safe, and I was allowed to come back and jump start a train. And they, right until the point it cranked, they said there's no way that little thing's going to jump start that train. And yeah, you've seen the video, it slowly cranks over and gets it moving, and boom, the train starts. So just to be able to jump start 2,500 horsepower two-stroke diesels with a jump start is pretty cool. So we've got a range, from jump start your moped through to a train, aircraft, tanks, all sorts of stuff. So yeah.
And Schumacher's obviously a name that's well known in
the
racing circles, so drag racing.
Yeah, so it's funny. I work for Schumacher. My boss's name's Michael, but he's not Michael Schumacher.
Not that one.
No. So we work for Don Schumacher. So Don Schumacher Racing, NHRA in the United States. Very famous over there. Everyone knows the Schumacher family and what they do and where they've been.
Tony would be the son, and
so Tony's the
current
top fuel driver, and then Don Schumacher started off in funny cars a long time ago, and he got out of racing for a while he built the electric business up, and then when Tony came along and wanted to race, they got back into racing as well as Schumacher Electric. So recently
he holds the record for the most championship wins or something.
Yeah, 351 as of the US Nationals in Indy a couple of weeks ago. So 351 Wallies, as they call it. Well, it's a pretty big record. And then 17 championships, full championships. So yeah.
There you go. So they know their stuff. So they know how to jumpstart a top fuel.
Yeah, and really
Well-
good people. You know, I've worked for big corporates, as I said, worked for Mobil and stuff, and working for a family business of that size is pretty cool. And particularly when Don is such a nice guy, you know, I've met him. I've been to Las Vegas to the drags and got to sit up in the motorhome and talk to him about different things while he was watching college football. It was pretty funny, you know, watching the football and talking to him, and then he jumped in the golf buggy and went down the start line and watched a couple of the funny cars run and got to stand right behind the funny cars as they went down the strip, and your whole body shakes and that sort of stuff. And we had a win, and you get a high five from Don Schumacher, and you know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, mate, I think we'll actually, because as you said before, we've got a couple of the products that we're testing
I want to try them out. Yeah.
We're going to. I've already started trying them out. Don't worry about that. Everyone's probably already seen the lights using those recently. And someone said to me, another mate of ours through YouTube, Zig, he said he's been using Schumacher light in his workshop for years, and he's dropped it into everything and off of everything, and he said it still goes strong. And I said, well, if you ever need one, then you know, let me know, I'll hook you up. And he said, no, I've got a pile of them on the shelf for sale as well. He goes, but he said that one's been going for years. So you know, they do last, and they are solid. Like, you can feel the weight of those lights. And
really powerful magnets, and the handheld, the main handheld model we sell, the 137, it has dual batteries as well, so it can run for 8 hours. So I've got a guy in a workshop that's working on his car all weekend, and he's, you know, like me, eyes aren't that good anymore.
Yeah.
Having good light's important to be able to see what you're doing. So that's a really good light, the SL137. That extra runtime in the battery really helps out.
And the magnets are strong, because I was doing the O2 sensor in the HJ today, and I was under there, and I said, Tyler, grab me the light. And he said, he had to have a second go because it was stuck to the toolbox so well.
Was that the slim light?
That was the inspection.
It's the most powerful magnet out of all the ones we've got.
Because it's not a huge magnet.
No, it's a really small light, but it's so powerful, you know.
Yeah.
We've had people put them under cars and doing servicing and stuff, and the car's left, and they had to
Come back, it's still there.
Call the lady, bring the car back out. We think our light's underneath, and it's still there. So it's flat, but it's still there. So.
No, it is cool, and we'll keep watching, because we'll do some other videos and actually just show you the range of what's out there, and hopefully people can jump on there. They can find your website.
Yeah, so we've
we've
rehashed our website a little bit lately. So yeah, just Google Schumacher battery chargers, and website's got some good links in there too as well. We've got a Facebook page. They should be able to find us.
We'll drop all the links below, and then Super Performance have got your products in there as well.
Yep.
You want to pop in, you know, if you don't want to order something online, the easiest thing to do is pop into somewhere like Super Performance, get it off the shelf, Sydney Tools. There's places everywhere around.
Yeah, and online we've recently done some stuff with Stinger Australia. Some guys I noticed you were using their insulation, which I've got some there for the Galaxy. One day you can come and help me.
It's so easy to do.
Yeah. Stinger have got an online page as well where you can buy our stuff online as well. So
there's some links there, and we might even throw some up on our site so people can get it off there as well. So it's top-notch stuff, guys. So check it out, and maybe we'll leave you with a few more shots in the shed.
Yeah, I'll show you all this good Ford stuff. See if I can convert you.
We won't go that far.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.